Hey there! So, goo, goo, goo. Cruising the internet looking for helpful warm-ups, you've probably come across the goo goo warm-up. If you aren't familiar with it, then this will be a great introduction. So today I'm going to share why it's so popular, why it works well, give you a couple suggestions on how to customize it for your voice, make sure that you are doing it correctly, and we'll go through some example warm-ups that you can explore. As a voice teacher, mostly what I do is diagnose what a student needs to make healthy and awesome sound while making sure that he or she is staying stylistically true to the music that they love to sing. And one piece of that equation is that I want to help the student find a beautiful balance in the way that their vocal folds come together, a balanced onset in creating their sound. The GU or the GOO combination is cool because it does a few things well right out of the gate. We're going to break this down because the more you understand why you are doing something, you can better feel what's happening, you can make improvements, and get the results that you want. As voice teachers, we only get to see you for maybe 4 to 2 hours a month. That's not a lot of time. So while you're working on your own, we want you to be strategic. So here we go. We're going to learn some things about the G consonant. So the G, said as a g, g, g sound, is a stopped, voiced velar consonant. That may sound a little complicated, but it's not. I'm going to teach you all about it. So it's a stopped consonant. Let's make the G sound together in slow motion, okay? So, g, g, right? You can feel that, right? You can feel that little hold or stop right before you make that sound. You can sense that no air is going to get through that position, right? G, right? That is the stopped part of the consonant. Okay, cool. So now it's voiced because the consonant vibrates in the vocal folds on a pitch. Okay, so we're going to try that. G, 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 g. That's the voiced part. Okay, the vocal folds are participating, a vibration is happening, so it's voiced. Now, velar simply means that your tongue, the back of your tongue, rises to meet your soft palate, creating this upward stretch in the back of the tongue. Okay, so let's feel that. G, g. You can even look in the mirror to make sure, see what your tongue's doing in there, okay? G, 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 g. Okay, so now that you know more about the consonant being the G said in that way, here's why it's helping you make a great sound. The stopped part of the consonant is attempting to set you up for a balanced onset, a balanced start to your sound. It's helping you build muscle coordination in the vocal folds as the vocal folds come together. We want them to line up and create a beautifully balanced closure. Ideally then, air won't be leaking through your vocal folds from the beginning of the sound, right? So the voiced part of the consonant is allowing the vocal folds to vibrate on a pitch. So we're getting the sound vibration going on the pitch that we desire, right? That's a great thing too. So let's just do those two things together, right? Let's feel for that stopped consonant. Let's feel for that voiced part of it as well. Okay, so let's do it again together. G, g, g. And I've got my fingers right here on my larynx. It's the thyroid cartilage. In men we call it an Adam's apple, but women have it as well. It's that little place right there, okay, that we can feel the vibration. G, g, g. Okay, so if it was a stopped, unvoiced consonant, but still velar, that would make a K sound. So the G and the K are very related. The G is voiced, g, g, g. The K is not. K, k, k. It's just a little bit of air coming through there. Now, so feel that. I want you to feel going back and forth between the voiced G and the unvoiced K. G, g, k, k, g, k, g, k. Okay? Both are still stopped. Both are still velar, but the G is voiced and the K is not. Now, the difference between these two is just good for you to know as we're going to experiment with them as we warm up, okay? So then the velar part of the consonant, that rise in the tongue to lift to the soft palate, helps get the tongue out of the way. So lots of singers struggle with tongue tensing, tightening, kind of falling back into the tube, pressed down, kind of messing with the overall resonance. So it's getting in the way of your beautiful sound. So this velar or upward stretch of the back of the tongue helps give the tongue a job while keeping it out of the way of your sound. It's awesome. So we have the stopped part, the voiced part, the velar part all working for us, and that's just the consonant. So now we're going to add the oo vowel, and then the good stuff continues. So why the oo vowel? I want you to feel why, okay? So again, gently place your fingers on your larynx, right there on that thyroid cartilage, okay? And we're going to go back and forth between the goo vowel, the goo combination, and the gi, okay? So goo, gi, goo, gi, goo, goo, gi, goo, gi, goo, gi, goo, goo, gi, goo, gi. So I feel when I do that the goo, the larynx is in a little bit of a lower position than it is in the E vowel, the gi vowel. Now let's try goo to ge. Goo, ge, goo, ge, goo, ge, goo, ge, goo. Same thing. So the goo position, the oo position for that larynx is just slightly lower than it is in the A position when we do ge, okay? So the position of the larynx can be very helpful for some singers that would really like to let their larynx naturally, right, stay in a very neutral oo position while they're singing their high notes, okay? So who best is served by this exercise? If a singer has a breathy tone, right, their onset has breath coming through, right, this exercise can help let the singer make a more clear tone because of the stopped voiced nature of the G sound, g, g, okay? If a singer tends to narrow or tighten the larynx as they head up in pitch, as they sing the high notes, this exercise helps because the vowel choice can actually keep the larynx a little bit lower, and they can move to those pitches with a little bit more freedom and less narrowing or tightness in the larynx, okay? So I love actually just to keep a neutral larynx, but that oo vowel can really help keep it in a little bit of a lower position. It will help the singer that has tongue tension because of that natural stretch of the back of the tongue up to the soft palate, or if the singer tends to have like kind of the tongue in their sound where that's kind of muscling through, it also will help let the tongue get out of the way and allow for the singer to experience their natural resonance. So lots of good stuff from this warm-up. So my feeling is if you don't know why you're doing an exercise, it's hard to know where to focus. So when I do squats, I know that I'm working my legs and booty. When I do bicep curls, I'm building my biceps. I know I'm doing an exercise. There are many things going on while we're singing, right? And this is an isolated exercise, an isolated warm-up working on the variables that we're talking about. So if you're doing the goo goo goo, it's kind of fun to know why it works and what is working. Why? Because this puts you in the driver's seat, keeps you present in your instrument. This allows you to ask better questions in your process, which then in turn helps you get the results you want. So here's how you could be actually doing the goo goo incorrectly. You may be overworking the g. If you already have a clear tone and you tend to push your sound, you may be doing too much on the stopped part of the exercise. You may be slamming the vocal folds together with too much pressure, overworking the voice and causing unnecessary fatigue, right? So the stopped part of the consonant, you just may be closing too much. Goo, 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 goo. Too much muscle to close. You can do less. The voiced part, you could be doing too much, pushing too much sound. Goo, goo, goo. Pushing those chords too much together, too hard. The impact of the G just may be overdone. So let's check, all right? Let's head to the piano and let's warm up together. All right, so let's do one note on goo, and we're going to do it slowly. I'm going to start on C4. You can pick any note that you want to, okay? Goo. 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 Let's move up a third. Goo. Goo. Let's move up another third. So I'm on G4. Goo, goo, goo. Great. So I tend to be on the pushy side, okay? So I'm always asking myself if I can do less, okay? If your voice is more breathy, you may want to ask it to do a little bit more. So let's try this again, okay? So we're going to do now, we'll start with slow goos and then we'll speed them up a little bit, okay? Goo, 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 goo. Let's go up a third. Goo, 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 goo. Up another third to that G4. Goo, 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 goo. Okay, so you're paying attention to how it's feeling in there for you, right? Okay, so now when experimenting, it's okay to go to extremes to find your balance. So this time, let's just make too much g sound, okay? Goo, 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 goo. Goo, goo, goo. Goo, goo, goo. Okay, a little bit too much muscle, but now I'm going to do too little. Okay, let's go to the other extreme. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Good. Now let's find the middle ground, okay? Let's go up in a little bit of pitches here. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Fun, okay? Now let's do them short. Goo, 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 goo. 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 Now let's try them connected, okay? Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, goo, goo. You see that I'm playing with timing. I'm allowing myself to explore and feel what's happening. I'm not going to just rock and roll through the whole thing yet because I really want to sense what's going on in the instrument, okay? Feel free to do that as well. Now, here, let's do some step-by-step scales in the octave on the goo, okay? Again, I'm starting on C4. I'm going to go up to C5. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Cool. So here's what I'd like you to try to play with the difference between the k and the g sound, okay? Because they're related. Remember, the G is voiced, g, g, g. The K is not voiced, k, k, k. But the other aspects, like the velar part and the stop part are the same. So I want you to feel the difference. So if you tend to push or slam that G, the K may be all you need to kind of get your voice feeling good, right? So let's try a little coo coo coo. Coo 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 coo. Goo 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 goo. Coo 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 coo. Goo 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 goo. Coo 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 coo. Goo 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 goo. Coo 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 coo. Goo 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 goo. All right, that's kind of fun. So you can play with the variation of how much K or how much G. So let's go through this one more time, and I want you to isolate and think about the different sensations that this consonant-vowel combo has to offer, okay? So stopped consonant. This time, I want you to only focus on the feeling of when you start, before you start that stopped feeling, okay? Goo, 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 goo. Make sure you're not doing too much in that stopped. Just enough, just a balanced stop, okay? Now let's focus on the voiced part. Goo, goo, goo. Again, find your balance in there. Not too much, okay? Just the right amount. It's cool to feel the vibrations too, right? Goo, goo, goo. Great. Now the velar piece, that tongue getting out of the way, let's feel that. Goo, goo, goo. What's cool about that is you can feel how the tongue releases into the oo vowel, right? Just kind of lets go of that position where the tongue is meeting the soft palate. Goo, goo, goo. That oo vowel is still kind of high, but it's not collapsing. The tongue isn't collapsing. It's keeping the soft palate lifted as it releases from each other. Goo, 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 goo. Fun stuff. I love this. Okay, so I want you to find the best balance of this exercise for you. Use these warm-ups. You can use stepwise. You can use the triad. You can use the arpeggio, right? You can use the scale, right? You can go as low or as high. Play with this. But use this warm-up with awareness and strategy so that you're getting the results that you want. Have fun with this. Let me know how it goes. And as always, rejoice in your voice. Bye-bye.